From the Global Academy, this is Metal Magic.
Morning Britain, you're locked in to Metal Magic. I'm Tom, and today we're taking a deep dive into the titans of Texas metal. We're talking about a band that redefined heavy music in the 90s, the one, the only, Pantera. In the show first, I'll be taking live questions from you, the listeners, throughout the episode. We've got a lot of ground to cover and the clock is ticking, so let's get into it. It all started with brotherhood. At the heart of the band were the Abbott brothers, Vinnie Paul on the drums and the legendary guitarist Darryl Lance Abbott, known to the world as Dimebag Darrell. But before he was Dimebag, he was Diamonds Darrell. A kid so good at the guitar that he was reportedly barred from local competitions at 14 because he kept winning them all. Most people don't realise Pantera actually started in 1981 as a glam metal act. With Terry Glaze on vocals and Rex Brown joining in on bass in 82, they released 3 albums with Spandex and Hairspray. But the brothers wanted something heavier. Creative differences saw Glaze depart, making way for a powerhouse from New Orleans, Philip, H, and Selma. Now before we move on, we have our first question from Tracy in Richmond, stating, "Hi Tom, it's so weird hearing about them in Spandex. I'm curious, when Phil first joined, did he just jump straight into the heavy stuff, or are there actually recordings of him singing in those old glam songs before they went full groove?" Great question, Tracy. Actually, Phil's first album with them, Power Metal in 88, was a bridge between the two styles. You can still hear some of that high-pitched 80s flair, but the power was most definitely moving in. Now, 1990 was the year everything changed. They dropped Cowboys from Hell. It wasn't just an album, it was the birth of groove metal. With over 700 million streams a day, it gave us those razor-sharp riffs on what many call the absolute peak of Anselmo's vocal range. And they didn't stop there. In 92, they perfected the formula with vulgar display of power. If you've ever shouted the lyrics to Walk or Mouth of War, you know why this record has over 1 billion streams. They then followed it up in 94 with Far Beyond Driven, arguably their heaviest work, which incredibly debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 for a week. Now as we progressed, we found ourselves another question from a fan, Mark from Manchester, saying, "Hey, huge fan of the show, so everyone knows that Vulgar Display of Power is a masterpiece, but I've always wondered, is it true the guy on the cover actually paid to be punched in the face for that photo? It looks way too real to be staged." The legend says he got paid $10 a punch and it took 31 tries. The photographer later said it was a bit more professional than that, but the impact on metal history was very real. And yet, despite all the success, the mid-90s brought a shift. The physical toll of the band's high-energy shows led Phil Anselmo to struggle with chronic back pain, eventually spiraling into a serious battle with substance abuse. This caused deep rifts during the recording of the great Sunken Trendkill. Even though the album was a platinum-selling success, Phil recorded his vocals separately from the rest of the band. By the time they released Reinventing the Steel in 2000, the tension was at a breaking point. The band officially split soon after. The Abbott brothers formed Damage Plan, while Phil focused on his supergroup Down. And even worse, the hope of a classic reunion was cut short. In 2004, the music world was rocked by the senseless loss of Dimebag Darrell, who was killed by a fan while on stage. The brothers never had a chance to fully reconcile with Phil before Vinnie Paul passed away in 2018. And now we have one final question from Clark in Hammersmith stating, "Easy Tom, with the new tour happening there's been a lot of debate online. Do you think calling this Pantera is a fair tribute to the brothers, or is it just a celebration for the fans who never got to see them live?" Now that's the million-dollar question, Clark, but first we need context. For years, fans thought the Pantera story was over, but in a move that sparked worldwide conversation, Rex Brown and a now sober Phil Anselmo decided to honor the Abbott brothers' legacy. Joined by metal icons Zakk Wylde and Charlie Benante, they've hit the road to keep those legendary songs alive for a new generation. But in my opinion, I think it's more than fair. It's amazing to see this highly prolific band tour once again in honor of two icons and their fans, and I'm more than excited to see what happens next. While they might not be making new music, the groove is most definitely back. Now stay tuned as we finish this off with an ironic Valentine's special, This Love.